Now let's get into the nuts and bolts of it and let's grow your practice. I'm going to go over a few things here that are so basic and so fundamental, they might seem boring. But the boring, simple, nuts and bolts stuff is what does it. It is mastery of the fundamentals. Even when it comes to adjusting, let's say it's cervical chair, it's mastery of the fundamentals. It's foot placement, body placement, basic fundamental square biomechanics, see? And when it comes to practice building, it's the same thing. So the first thing I'm going to say, if you want to see more people, if you want to help more people, okay? If you want to generate more income over the course of every year as a chiropractor, the number one thing that has to happen is this. The starting point for all achievement is goals. And I don't mean wishes in your mind, I mean goals like this. I have made now over 500 videos on everything that has to do with chiropractic practice success. 500. I've actually made closer to 1,000, but I have 500 published and available for the people that are in my group. And one of the very first things we start with in developing and growing a chiropractic practice is, of course, goals. And they should look like this. We set goals for the entire year and for the upcoming year. So you know exactly what your goal targets are for this year and exactly what your goal targets are for the upcoming year. Then, after those numbers are engineered and calculated, which I go through the whole process and show you how to do, we keep track and we have sheets for every single month. Every single month for this year is already made with all the monthly numbers, all the weekly numbers that mathematically perfectly tie in with the yearly numbers. So the entire year, there's the December sheet, November, okay, and then of course the ones that are already done so far for this year. There is a absolutely perfect and accurate and clear set of goals and of course the stats that are kept on those goal sheets. These goal and stat sheets are the best goal and stat sheets that have probably ever existed in chiropractic. Okay? Anything done in a computer is useless. Okay? The way it's done here is so important that you have your collection goal for the year set, how many new patients for the year target, how many visits for the year target, all right? All of these things are engineered a year in advance so they can be locked into your mind so then your practice will start to go that way. Human beings are goal-striving organisms. We have a mechanism built into us that's going towards something. You must program it with what you want. If you want to see a certain volume, you must program that, and we do it by engineering the number for the year. Then we break it down to the month, and we break it down to the week, and then we engage our plan. So this is what happens on, you might say, the macro level. Very clear goals and stats. As a chiropractor calls me and wants to build their practice, it might start like this. Well, let's take a look at your goals and see if we can't get you on the right track. Well, I don't have any written down goals that are clear. You don't? Well, maybe run out to your car. Maybe they're out in your car. Well, I don't have them in my car. Well, why don't you run back to your office and grab your clearly written down and accurate goals and bring them back and let's take a look at them. Well, I don't have any goals in my office either. You mean to tell me you don't have any written down clear goals for all the main categories for your practice? No, I don't. We must have, number one, very clear written down goals and a way to keep them, what you might say, in stat form, so we always know exactly where we're at and exactly where we're going. This is the starting point, all right? I'd love to spend some time and go over with you in detail exactly how to do this, okay? If all you do is this, I will tell you right now, your practice will grow because you finally got some targets clear in your mind. And I'll tell you right now, some of you might have some goals and some sort of stats, but they're probably not nearly as accurate, nearly as clear as what they really need to be. You might think you have something, but it's not at the level it really, really should be. And I'd love to show you how to do that. Next thing is this, in you growing your practice. Number 2, all right, on my little checklist right here, is this. If you want to double your practice, let's say, for example, you're at 150 visits a week. You would like to see 300 visits a week. You might be at 100 visits a week and want to see 200. You might be at 200 and want to see 400. You might be at 400 a week and want to see 800. All right? Everything in between. But you have to understand this. Now, there are not 5 chiropractors out of 500 that really, really understand what I'm going to say. But I want you to get this, okay? Because almost every chiropractor rejects or it makes an excuse or an alibi or tries to argue with what I'm going to tell you right now. But it's mathematical fact. And here it is. If you want to see 300 a week, this next 150 people that you want to see, because you're already seeing 150, you want to see another 150 a week for 300. This second 150 a week has to be able to come into your office at exactly the same time and have their feet and footprints standing in exactly the same spot as the first 150. In other words, this next 150 people has to be able to come in at exactly the same time as the first 150. See, these 150 people came in at a certain time with their schedules and just the way the schedule works for a chiropractic office. So if you want to see 150 more, they don't fill in around the cracks. A restaurant wants to see more people, but nobody wants to eat dinner at 3:30. Everybody wants to come in at 5 to 7 o'clock, let's say. So they've got to be able to double the number of people they can see between 5 and 7 o'clock. Same is true for the chiropractor. If you want your practice to grow, you have to see more people in exactly the same time. And the only way for that to be the case is if these people aren't there because they're already gone, because your treatment time improved. So if you want to double your practice, 2 times you want to double it, your treatment time must be cut in half. Math, fact. It doesn't matter if you have all kinds of room in your appointment book. It does not matter. I've seen chiropractors seeing 3 people a day, 3 a day, and their practice is full. Why? They all came in at the same time. 15 minutes with the first person, chiropractor takes 15 with the second. The third person doesn't want to wait a half hour, so they bail out of the practice. So if you want to see more people, the treatment time must be refined. So what we do next, after we have clear target set, is we do a treatment time study. It's very simple. We have these forms, the CA does it. It's actually a lot of fun to do. So you can see exactly what the chiropractor's treatment time is and the total time in the office. And understand this. For most chiropractors, a 15 or 20 second refinement in treatment time equals around $50,000 a year in increased collections. Tiny bits with lots of people during the day adds up to be lots and lots of time. Let me just give you an example of what I mean. If you saved 20 seconds per patient, let's say you were just seeing 30 people a day, okay? Well, we got 600 seconds. That's 10 minutes a day. At 10 minutes a day, say you only work 4 days a week, that's 40 minutes a week. Times 50 weeks is 2,000 minutes. See? At 2,000 minutes, okay, let's say you could see, 500 more visits at, let's say, $40 a visit. Well, that's $20,000 with even the most conservative math. Okay? Year after year after year, and chiropractors call me and say, I don't know how to get ahead. I can't seem to get my student loans paid off, and I just can't. Because it's done on a moment-by-moment level, and treatment time is the key. So you want to grow, clear goals, and we want to get the treatment time refined. so that more people can come in, because everybody wants to come in at exactly the same time. And you've got to be able to handle them, otherwise you're pushing them away. A sad thing that happens in the Gonstead world is this. Many times a typical Gonstead chiropractor will be so hung up on their system and all this stuff, they take too much time. And they're actually pushing and keeping people out of their practice that need them desperately. Understand this. People need you. You've got to be smooth enough and refined and fast enough that you can make room for them so you can help them. You have to be willing to accept, okay, more people coming in and be able to compress your quality so you can help the masses. Your goal is to help as many people as you can, not sit here and be all hung up on your technique-related stuff and being slow with it, all right? Help people get better, get smoother, get faster. Those who know what they're doing can do it fast. Okay? All right. Next thing is this. By the way, fast means you're not spending 5 or 10 or 15 minutes with every single patient. Okay? So, treatment, time. Got to improve if you want to see more people. It's that simple. All the marketing in the world, okay, you can go and spend $10,000 a month on marketing and it will make no difference, okay, if this doesn't improve, because you must create a vacuum. Once you create the vacuum inside your office, it will naturally fill, because you got more disciplined and you got smarter, your intelligence level elevated, okay, you got done what needed to get done, you got down to it, and you decided you want to help more people instead of take all day with people. All right, so number 3 is this. And this is going to be incredible for you also. I'm going to teach you something here that's going to be one of the most valuable things you've ever heard and ever learned as it relates to your practice growth and people staying with you in the future. Next thing is this. Understanding the value of your PVA. How long does the typical patient see you? In other words, does an average person just see you for 12 visits? Or is it 24 visits? My PVA as of this month for this year is 81 visits. Why is that? Because I have people that come in to get their spine checked, you know, every week, 2, 3, 4 weeks, year after year after year, and so my PVA ends up being quite high. All right? Now, understand this. If you have 10 new patients in a month, and you have a PVA of 20 visits, that means over the lifetime of that human being, you'll have 200 visits total. So you have 10 new patients. The average person that you see comes in 20 times in their lifetime. So that's 200 visits. Notice me. I have 10 new patients. My PVA is 81. I have 810 visits. My practice is 4 times bigger, 4 times busier, and 4 times everything than yours with the same number of new patients. Here's the point. If you get better at getting results, at your communication skill, at allowing people to come in and being smoother and faster, see, if they have to drive 15 or 20 minutes, wait for 5 minutes, spend 10 minutes with you and drive 20 back, they can't spend an hour on a chiropractic visit. It's not 1943. It's not 1972, okay? Speed is king. Speed is king. Speed and quality is king, all right? So here it is for you. If you can simply increase the amount of times a person comes to see you by 5 or 10 visits. Let's say you have 200 new patients a year. And let's say your PVA just grows by 5. Well, that's 1,000 more visits a year. And let's say $40 a visit, that's $40,000 a year you collected more just because you were better and people stayed with you just 4 or 5 visits longer. See that? So you got 40,000 here, you got another chunk here. You've already increased your practice by 100,000 a year because your PVA went up and your treatment time went up and you spent 0 on marketing. See, success in practice really is mathematical, and you have to understand this. So many chiropractors don't, and they're trying this and trying that, and it's all a waste if the treatment time isn't right and you're not getting people to continue. I'm going to teach you something now that Once you grasp this, I think you're going to find it's one of the smartest things you will ever hear. Here is our official process for getting patients to want to continue to come and see you in the future. You want people to come in and get their spine checked from you consistently for how long? Forever. You want a patient to come in forever. You want them to come in initially, get great results, and then come back to get their spine checked for how long? Forever. Period. All right? And here is one of the best ways to do it. As you have an initial plan with the patient, they're cruising along, and what you say is this: as soon as they start to get the results you're seeking, you say this. I want you to listen very carefully. In fact, you're going to want to write this down. You're going to want to rewind this and write this line down. If you learn this one thing, it's going to change your entire practicing future. And it's this. You had it your way, Bill. How often would you go to the chiropractor? And don't say every day like most people do. Of course, around here, we get our spines checked every week. Now, what would you do? Okay, I'm going to say it again. You had it your way, Sherry. How often would you go to the chiropractor? And don't say every day like most people do. Of course, around here, we all get our spine checked every week. Now, what would you do? I want you to understand what just happened there. What you just heard me say is go to the chiropractor, get checked every week. Now you do. So rewind this and actually write down what I just said. And I want you to circle these terms. Because in there I say, go to the chiropractor, get checked every week. Now you do. Leadership language. Smart leadership language. All right? And what you're doing here is you're getting the patient to tell you how often they want to come in and get checked. You see how different that is from you saying, well, you need to do this. You simply use this language, and they will tell you how often. Oh, I don't know, I'd like to come in and get checked every week. Great idea. I'll show you, and I'll put together a plan on how you can do that. I'll show you next time. Bing, and then they're in to getting their spine checked every week. They might need a little bit of tune-up, they might need a lot, it just depends on your analysis. Okay? You get the patient to tell you how often they want to come in and get checked. Learning this alone and saying this to your patients, you'll be shocked at how much people really do want to come in and see you and get checked. And then you engineer the plan, the wellness plan, the payment arrangement for them to be able to do this. A block of 12 visits, a block of 26, a block of 52. I've got people heavy in martial arts. I do a lot of work with the UFC. These fighter-type people, they want to get their spine checked 100 times a year after hard training, hard practices. Very smart. So we have a plan for 100 visits a year. Perfect. And family plans also. So remember that line. I'll say it one more time for you. All right? You had it your way, John. How often would you go to the chiropractor? And don't say every day like most people do. Of course, around here, we all get checked every week. Now, what would you do? Oh, I don't know. I'd probably come in and get checked out every couple of weeks. Great idea. I'll show you what that looks like next time I see you. You're one of our VIPs, so we're going to make it real easy for you. There. He told you how often he wants to come in. What more could you ask for? Now I just lay out the plan for a certain block of visits to get the person in to get checked out, maintain their spine, chiropractic awesomeness. There. The PVA will grow automatically once you learn that. So we get some goals set. We get our treatment time. We're aware of it because we do the timing drill. Have some improvement, some refinement there so we can allow more people to come in and benefit from your great care. And we learn how to get people to continue into the future more, all right, by using the right language to get them to tell us how often they want to come in. We lay out a plan for them to do it, and they walk up and they do it. Okay? Awesome. And here it is. What did this cost for marketing? Not one single dime. Absolutely incredible. Okay? So here are the few key elements. I've got a lot more than this. Okay, as I mentioned, I've got 500 videos on almost anything you can imagine as it relates to chiropractic practice success. I wanted to boil it down to 3 of the biggies that I knew would be valuable for you right now. Now I want to shift gears. In the next video, we're going to talk about money. You and your money, specifically you and debt. I'll see you there.